So welcome to our October, what day is it, 26th Human Rights Committee meeting. In keeping with the ongoing emergency order from Governor Charlie Baker to limit gatherings and maximize social distancing and under legislation passed to address remote board meetings during the emergency declaration. This meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by committee members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards quorum. The meeting will broadcast live and be recorded on ECAT. While conducting meetings remotely, we will endeavor to keep meeting operations as close to standard procedures as possible. Some things that you'll note is that while committee members will be on video and audio, public participation will join the meeting muted with no video feed. Public lines will be muted throughout the meeting to allow the board to conduct business. For general meetings, the chair will solicit public comments. Members of the public participating in Zoom meeting may submit a written question in chat, provided they include their full name and address for the public record. And then members of the public viewing the meeting on ECAT can also go ahead and submit questions in writing via email to mblanchard@easton.ma.us. And then the chair will reserve the right to respond to those questions during the live meeting, but may limit the time for such activities. And then any questions not addressed in the meeting may be answered afterwards via email and will be incorporated into the meeting minutes for public record. All votes will be by roll call, and when all business indicated on the agenda has been completed, the members will vote to adjourn the meeting, signaling the end of the meeting and the termination of the ECAT recording. To ensure that I have quorum, I'm going to ask the committee members to identify themselves. I'll go ahead and ask for it in alphabetical order.
RJ here.
Foster here.
Oh, it's me. Amy Gershman here.
Kristen Haye here.
Sergio Romoa here.
Allison Archili here.
Sergio,
Right,
you'll
thank
soon
you.
learn we're not really good with the alphabet.
Oh, I know. I'm
Get
always
it down
last.
by the end of the meeting.
I'm always last. It's very
Like a
easy.
little quiz.
I got thrown off, you know, people aren't here.
All right, so first item on the agenda is to, and I do see we have some folks joining in for the conversation around RMK, so I just want to acknowledge that I do see you on. But first, we're going to start off with the review and approval of minutes that Liz shared on September 30th. Anybody have any updates to those meeting minutes or any changes? Okay,
Liz did a nice job.
Approve.
So moved.
I'll second then.
Second. Thank you. Can we go ahead and vote by in alphabetical order again, please?
Marjorie, yes.
Foster, yes.
Gershman, yes.
Hey, yes.
Romoa, yes.
Archili, yes.
And Chan, yes. Thank you. See, I told you by the end of the meeting we have this down. Okay. NRC Harvest Festival. Oh, go
Karen,
ahead,
before we
Kathy.
do that, do you want to just do introductions since we have a new member and each of us tell a
Oh,
little bit?
yeah, sure. Absolutely. Sergio, do you want to go ahead and start off?
Of course. So my name is Sergio Romoa. Always thank you for allowing me to join and attend and participate and volunteer. My background just came from Denver, Colorado with my family. I'm starting up as a primary care doctor in Quincy, Massachusetts. I live in Easton, obviously. I was doing urgent care during the pandemic and just kind of wanted to change of pace. But I trained down in Miami as well. And there I kind of other kind of volunteers, health fairs. I went to the Caribbeans after some of the hurricanes hit during the last few 5 years, and unfortunately get hit very often. And just kind of trying to give back to my community.
Welcome. Thank you. All right. Do we want to go in alphabetical order? Craig, do you want to go next?
Sure. Sergio, I've met you before. I'm the select board representative to the HRC.
Hi, Sergio.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm Kathy Foster. I am lived in Easton for close to 40 years and worked in the field of autism before I retired, and now I've been on this committee for two plus years.
Hi, Sergio. Welcome. My name is Amy Gershman. I've been in town for 13, 14 years now. On the committee for 3 years, 4 years. My reasons are more personal than professional to be on the committee, but I'm so glad you're here. It's awesome to hear about how you give back to your community. We're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Sergio, welcome. I'm Kristen Haye, and I am the second newest member of the committee. I haven't been here for a year yet. And I joined also for personal reasons. And I've enjoyed my stay so far, and I hope you do as well. And I've been here for about 8 years in Easton.
Hi, Sergio. My name's Irene. I've been a member of HRC for a couple of years now. Joined the committee for personal reasons too, mostly because of kids. So it's mostly for them. Let's see. I've enjoyed my time with HRC, and I hope you do too. Welcome.
Welcome, Sergio. I'm Allison. I've been in Easton for 14 years. I've been on this committee for, I think, 3 or 4 years now. And I have 2 kids in town. I joined the committee for a number of reasons, and I've been having a really fun time. It's a great group, and we get a lot accomplished.
excellent. Thank you, everyone. And thanks, Kathy, for recommending that. Sergio and I have already met, so I think we're good to go there. So the next agenda item is our NRT Harvest Festival 2021. Allie, do you want to go ahead and give a summary of the event for the group?
Sure. So we had the event at the NRT Harvest Fair. It ended up being a beautiful day, so we got pretty lucky with the weather. I tried to estimate how many people we had participate in the program. I honestly am bad at that. I don't know. Maybe you guys who were there for the whole day have a better idea of it. It was definitely in the hundreds. We had a lot of children join. We had a lot of adults join. I think the two groups of or demographics that I didn't see a lot of were I guess seniors. There were not a lot of seniors there, and there were not too many teens there. Now I'm not sure if that's just consistent with the attendance at the event overall, or if it was just sort of the draw that we had. But it was just some observations that I noted. The artwork itself is now at the Council on Aging. It's huge. I'm laughing because it's very large. I think maybe it didn't need to be quite as large, but it is 12 feet by 16 feet. And because it needs to be mounted abutting the ground, it can be a little bit challenging. But I think we found a good spot at the Council on Aging, right, Kelly? And I hope people have been enjoying it there. Next up, it's actually going to go to Oliver Ames High School as part of our support in this latest event that happened. Was that yesterday? So it'll be housed there. I'm going to drop it off November 5th. So Kelly, I'll need to coordinate with you to pick it up. I'll bring it to OA, and we'll have it installed there. And I'm guessing it will be there probably for maybe until the holiday break at OA. Overall, the event cost us, under $500, including the t-shirts that we had made. And let's see, we did get a number of people who signed up to be allies. I can't remember how many were on that list, Kathy, but it was a pretty decent number.
We were almost 150 allies.
Ooh, we're close. All right.
Getting up there.
And then I actually just dug out this paper. So we have, I know we're going to talk about Hate Has No Home here. The signage, the signs, we had 5 people sign up for that. So I'll send that to whoever you sign that up to. Overall, the feedback that we got was very positive. I mean, as we were there at the event, quite a few people walked up to us and just told us, you know, that they thought it was really wonderful what we were doing as a committee and that they really liked the project. One other observation that I made that I did not expect, I'm not a social media person, so it's probably just my lack of understanding of how social media works, but what I didn't expect was the sheer number of people who just wanted to have their picture taken. I'm convinced it didn't even really matter what the artwork was behind them. I think they just really wanted to have their picture taken. It was a bonus that the artwork was really cool, and it was definitely a draw to get more people there, but I think going forward, if we can come up with opportunities in all of our events for these photo ops, I think it will really help push the message even further than just the people who attend in person. We didn't do so well on the hashtag. Not a lot of people hashtagged it, but I think it was definitely shared on social media. I saw it pop up a couple times. And, you know, when people take photos, it's definitely to share usually. So I expect that it was definitely shared quite a few times beyond just the event itself. Did I miss anything, Karen, Kristen, anybody else who was there?
Yeah, no, I think it was, I think we probably had about maybe 400 or so, 400 to 500 people participate, because a lot of folks ended up just kind of supporting their children as they were making their artwork and definitely kind of stuck around, lots and lots of pictures taken. You know, I was thinking about just kind of lessons learned, thinking about, you know, kind of future NRT events. First of all, the NRT was so gracious in letting us have such an awesome space for that monstrosity that we had, because as Ali mentioned, it was pretty large, but I think it, you know, it was extremely visible, and it did create a lot of foot traffic in terms of where we were located. So really want to thank the NRT for their support on finding us the right space and setting up electrical for us and making sure that all worked out really well. But yeah, and then we had a great number of volunteers, and so students from OA helped to volunteer that day, and we're really, and at the middle school as well, and we're soliciting, helping to support, you know, kind of the kids, the younger kids, and working through their artwork or encouraging folks to partake. And so I think that really helped as well, and you know, kind of thinking about future events in which we could leverage our students who have interest in participating in events like that. I think is a great thing. Yeah, I think overall, you know, really positive. Ali, was there something else from a lessons learned perspective that we thought we could capture?
Not from lessons learned. I just, as next steps, would love all of your ideas and contacts at various locations where you think it would be good to house this monstrosity. And as we think through it, you know, we did this with a different project, the Faces of Easton, and we moved it around to the different schools. Because this is sort of a photo op, I'm not sure that it will work at the elementary age schools, although just as artwork, I suppose it would. But definitely it's going to go to OA. After that, I don't have any plans for it. So if you guys have any ideas and contacts, please let me know, and we can make it happen. Because I would love to keep it going, you know, and have it displayed at a couple different places if we can.
What about the Winter Festival?
Oh, that's right. We had talked about that. And Karen, I think you reached out. Did you ever hear back on that one?
I did, yes, and I have that on the agenda for review in a little bit, but that's what we're hoping to also be able to have that display there.
Yep.
How about at Langwater? Like Thursdays, they have like it seems like they get a lot of foot traffic on Thursdays because of their market, farmers market. So maybe, plus they have the pumpkin patch. So
Yeah,
we're just there recently. It seems like there's a lot of people between that and then their farmers market.
That's a great
What
idea.
about weather, Ali?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. So
weather.
So it's going to be at OA, I would say, until the winter festival. And then when is that? December? Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then after that, I don't have any plans for it. So we could think about doing it at one of those farmers markets. If they are continuing them through the winter, which I assume they are. But you're right, we'll need to be careful of the weather. So it would be more of a one day, bring it in the morning, set it up, leave it there during the day, pick it up only if the weather behaves. Because even if it's a little bit windy, it.
Is there any way we can?
Allison, you might want to, I'm sorry, Kathy, go ahead.
I just wondered if there's any way we could have a ally sign-up list sort of near it, so that maybe wherever it is, if people come and see it, they might want to sign up.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good idea. It also has a QR code on it, so people can scan it, go straight to our web page, our website, and then sign up there, I believe, right? We have a sign up for allyship. No.
I haven't
Also,
seen anybody
You
that way.
might want to reach out to the Vogue School too.
That's a great idea.
To see if they're interested at all.
Mhm.
I don't have a contact, but I'm sure you could find out through town hall.
Yep, that's a great idea.
Contact person.
Did you try the Y?
I haven't tried anything yet, if I'm honest.
Yeah, or the library. Why the library?
Yeah.
Why library? Okay, those are great ideas. Thank you.
And Allie, let us
Yeah, and
know
we
if
can definitely add.
moving stuff around.
Thank
I
you.
can help you with the library. I think I have a contact there for you.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was just going to say we can add the ally sign up sheet, and we can add maybe the Hate Has No Home sign up sheet as well if we wanted to. We could actually add a lot of sheets on it if we wanted to. It has a lot of space. Just kidding. Okay. So I think that would be great. All right. So nothing else left in terms of NRT. Moving forward, Hate Has No Home signs. So the signs have arrived. We had a little bit of a mishap. They sent us the wrong signs initially, but that's all been resolved. Liz worked with the town. The town went ahead and helped us get that ordered and resolved. And so we have them. So now we'll just want to think about how we want to move forward with distribution. So again, I know that we had asked folks if they were interested in a sign during the NRT. I don't think we got a lot of signups, Allie. I think you said maybe 5 or 10 or something like that. But I know folks have been emailing. Okay. I think people have been emailing to the HRC mailbox and asking about signs. So we'll just have to kind of go back to that list as well. And then last time around, what we did was we set up kind of a pickup station for folks that had specifically asked for them, and just let people know that we were going to be distributing them at Center School, right, Irene? Or we at one of the schools, right? Somewhere that I know had a lot of car traffic. And we were able to get those distributed. So I don't know if folks have ideas around that, or we could maybe think about correlating it with something that we're already going to be doing, like the Winter Festival, and maybe, offering up an opportunity for folks to get the signs there. I'm not sure. Any other thoughts?
I think it would be hard at the Winter Festival for people to carry them, and it's just. But what about the is it the Fellowship Church, the one that's across from Target? They have a huge parking lot, and
That's the Fellowship Church, yeah.
don't they want to be our friends? Yes. So I bet they would let us set up there.
I know that they were very agreeable. They have the Easton Food Pantry has actually moved there.
Right. The tricky part about Center School right now is the construction.
Yes, that's true.
That's the advantage of someplace else. And we could, if we pick a day, we contact them, pick a date, and then send out to all our allies, and maybe try to get Donna Whitehead to write a little article in the newspaper for us, so that let people know. We could post it in the town crier.
The schools that are doing car washes are still getting pretty decent traffic at Center School if we need to use them, regardless of the
A mess.
construction. Also, you know, we could just link to a Google form and have people sign up for a sign on the website. And I should do that for the allies too. I think we started to do it a while back, Kathy, but if we all agree, we could put those, have a mechanism for, you know, people to sign up online.
Well, we could, if we did something before the winter festival, then at the winter festival, we could still have them with us if we have a table somewhere.
I think it's better,
Okay.
Kathy, if it's done separate. I mean, again, the issue of carrying them around, if you're at the festival with your kids and, you know, family, I don't think you want to carry them around. So it's probably better, you can have a sign up there, but I think it's better if you do it, whether it's Center School or the Fellowship Church or wherever there's an appropriate place to have them. I think that makes more sense than, so people can just drive up, get it, and leave. And they don't have to carry it around.
So should we pick a date and see if either place would work?
Yes.
Yeah, I think a weekend works best because I think then
Yep.
this way, you know, we can have a couple of folks there to go ahead and help support the distribution. So we have a few weekends coming up in November. The long weekend though is, are the kids off 11th and 12th, right?
It's Veterans
Someone's
Day.
nodding, yeah?
Veterans Day?
Okay. I don't know if it's that weekend or if it's the weekend before.
No, it's that one. The Veterans
Fourth
Day
and-
is Thursday, I think, and then Friday they have a teacher workshop day. If I,
Okay, so we'd probably want to, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, what about right before Thanksgiving? What is that? The
20th. So I would think it would either be the 6th or the 20th, basically, if those other weekends are booked. So
Why don't you
maybe
reach out to
somebody
find
on the-
out? I'm sorry, Karen. Why don't you reach out to find out if we can utilize the fellowship parking lot before we decide on a date? Just find out if they're willing to do it, allow us to do it. And the same thing with Center School, I would think. Just asking the school department whether we could use that on a particular day, you know, a weekend day or whatever. Because the road is now, it's mostly paved now, so it's not as bad as it has been in terms of Center School.
although, as Amy said, there's a lot of car washes and things going on, so we'd have to make sure we timed it correctly.
Sure, absolutely.
Is that our first choice, Center School?
I think either one
think
could
either
work.
one.
Yeah, either one could work. I think the big thing here is we need to advertise first, or just to let people know. So that, given that, I think, do we have enough time if it's the 6th?
I don't think so.
I don't think so too.
I think we should aim for the 20th. Is that a Saturday? I'm not looking at a calendar.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
And we should just choose which one's our first choice, and somebody should follow up. I'm happy to follow up with Fellowship Church, but sounds like Center might be. Somebody want to do Center School first?
I can do Center.
What's our promotion
perfect.
to-do list then? Town crier, what else did we say?
I'll do Town Crier and I'll do the ally list.
So we need to reach out to Donna too, see if Donna will do an article. Is that what you want to do too, Karen?
I think just a little short little something would be
You wanna
great.
write it up and send it to her, or do you want her to do it on her own? With some direction or whatever?
Yeah, we can write up something and send that to her. That should be easy enough.
And isn't a key point that the town bought these? Or is that?
Is that a key point? I'm sorry, Kathy, what?
Well, that Easton is supportive of these signs and we want our community to embrace them.
I don't think there's any reason why you can't say that.
If we could get her to write an article, this would be another good response to what just happened at OA. I don't know if she'd be willing to make a connection, but I mean,
I'd be happy to reach out to Dawn and see what she wants to do. Whether she wants us to write something up or whether she wants to contact Karen and have that conversation and write something on her own, if that's appropriate.
Okay, that sounds good. And then Amy, were you saying maybe some sort of sign up on our website you're thinking as well?
yeah, sure. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, let me know if we know when the article's coming out. I'll make sure to get it done before then.
And let's try to
Okay,
capture
excellent.
everyone that gets a sign as an ally.
yeah, it's a prerequisite to getting a sign. How about
There you
that?
go.
Kathy, do you want them to do we want to get the names of people when they actually pick up the sign?
We can do that. Get their name and
An address, so you know where the signs are going to be?
or just their email address.
Okay.
All right, excellent. Thank you. So this will occur before we have our next meeting. So just kind of an FYI, I don't think we're going to have a meeting before then.
So Irene, you're going
So
to contact their school, right?
Yes.
And then you'll let us know, because then we want to all do our, get the publicity out there based on that.
Yes. So November 20 is our date. Any specific time you think? I think last time we did this, we did mid-morning. Do you remember, Karen? Was it
Yes,
around
I think
10,
that's about right.
9 or 10?
somewhere but like 10 to 12 or something. It was a window because I don't think we could man it all day.
Yes.
So I think we had like a 2-hour window for pickup
Yes.
or something like that.
Okay. I'll shoot for the same time frame.
Okay,
I'll
I'm
bring,
happy to-
Kathy, that's good for the church
I'll bring,
as
I'll
well.
bring a
10
t-shirt.
to 2.
oh yeah, and I'm happy to be there 10 to 12.
10 to 12. Okay, perfect. So our first choice will be center school, and if not, then we'll have Kathy reach out to the fellowship church. That sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
Yes.
Okay, we have t-shirts
Should we
and
also
stickers
advertise this on
and-
social media? Should we also advertise this on social media?
on our personal pages, you mean, Irene?
Yes. I think we should.
Yeah, we definitely can. We definitely can. We only have 100
Okay.
signs, just FYI,
Okay.
but,
We'll just say limited.
okay.
Let me work
Limited
on the
supply,
sign up.
first come,
Let
first
me work
serve.
on the sign up, and then maybe we can share it on social when there's an actual place to put an email address in. I'll try to do that in the next couple days.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Okay, awesome. So I know we have some folks joining us today from RMK. We wanted to talk through, they provided a draft proclamation. So should I don't know how to do this. Do I promote to panelists or do I just allow to talk? Anyone?
I think you
That's the
promote
best way
them
to
to,
do this.
I think you promote them to panelists for the discussion.
Yeah, I think it's nicer to
All
see
right.
them.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure. I'm not really very used to this. Denise and Kristen, can you hear us okay?
Hi, yes, I can.
Hi, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. So back to the proclamation, Denise and team, Denise, Kristen, and Dawn helped to put together a group of folks to work on a proclamation. The proclamation was circulated to our committee. Many of our committee members actually went ahead and provided some feedback, and then I pulled that together and consolidated a document to share with the group for an overview of all of our feedback in one consolidated document. So, but I wanted to at least kind of give Denise and Kristen the opportunity to kind of share with the committee, as well as folks listening or who plan to listen to the meeting, the purpose of the proclamation and what the goals of the proclamation are. So Denise, do you want to, or Kristen, do you want to take that on?
Kristen, would you like to say a few words about it, or would you like me to address?
You can start, Denise.
Okay, sure. So the proclamation initially was to be a proclamation against racism in the town, and so we wanted to have the town. The town had been and still is experiencing racist acts. So the goal was to have this proclamation against racism so that we could come together as a community and, truly take a stand against racist acts that happen in the town, as well as racism overall. So initially we put together a committee that was to draft the proclamation, and we did that. And so now we came to the HRC for input, and our goal is to really have the town back us in the proclamation and have community members also take part in adopting the proclamation, so that as a community we can, as a whole, adopt everything that's on the proclamation and is written as part of the community. I do need to say though, Karen, that we as the proclamation committee have not been able to come together as a group since we received your edits. We have tried, schedules and everything, so we have not come to an agreement as a committee. So I'm not sure what happens at this point. We definitely would like Dawn's input before we move forward.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I don't think I was able to get you all the consolidated comments until Sunday, so I completely understand that. I know.
Don't worry about it. This has been 6 months in the making, so we want to make sure that it's exactly what the town needs and what we need.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that, and thanks for your patience around that. One thing that I know that you and Dawn and Kristen brought forward last time that I wasn't able to answer, and I think we needed Craig for maybe, was around maybe a little bit more clarification on just process. And so I think there was whether or not after the HRC reviews and provides our input and approves and signs it as a committee, would there need to be any additional approvals, I think is what maybe we discussed last time around. And Craig, I know you were going to check in with Dottie maybe around that piece of it, whether or not the select board would then want some sort of additional review, or if you being on this committee would satisfy that piece.
I think it would have to go further in order to be able to say Easton as opposed to the Human Rights Committee and RMK as the producers of the proclamation.
Okay, so it would have to go. So once the Human Rights Committee approves, if we all come into an agreement with what we have written, then the select board signs off. I'm just trying to understand who signs off, when, and what that means.
Well, if you're going to say the town of Easton, then you have to have representation from the select board indicating that they support this proclamation. As Dottie has said before, the Human Rights Committee is really the avenue for this kind of documentation. Mm-hmm. To have the Human Rights Committee in the forefront, because that's our charge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm not sure about how I'm looking at it saying, is it Easton or is it the Human Rights Committee and the members of the RMK who represent, parts of the community?
Right.
That's where we have to have a further discussion.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you think that we best do that? Only because the reason I'm saying this is because initially when Kristen took this to the select board, she was told that the Human Rights Committee is the representative for Easton in this type of situation where it has to do with racism. So that's why we're here, is because our understanding is the HRC is the town of Easton's representative. So, so I just want to, make sure that's clear. So if we do have that signed off here, eventually, hopefully next month, Karen. So if we do have that signed off here, then, the next step is for the select board. I just want to understand.
I think that you have to have the Human Rights Committee finalize their edits of the document. And there has to be a conversation about whether it is the town of Easton speaking, or it is the Human Rights Committee and RMK on behalf of the community. Both racism and given what just happened, anti-Semitism is another thing that needs to be, from my perspective, added into this this conversation.
So it sounds more of a process question at this point, right? We're trying to figure out, does the town itself issue a proclamation, or do we?
Yeah, but I think that when RMK first brought this forward, the emphasis was really that we wanted it to be from the town of Easton, right? That it was a look at it holistically from our town to the community about our stance against racism, discrimination, hatred, however we want to look at it. So I do think if that's the goal, is for it to say the town of Easton, Craig, I think we just probably need that to be able to provide RMK with kind of the final steps on what would need to occur. So if HRC, even with your representation here as select board member, is maybe the first step of that, and then bringing that to the select board for final approval, then we just need to probably clarify that for Denise and team. Or if by your representation on this committee, and we have school board representation from Michelle, and we can have Deputy Chief Boone as a representation from the police. Like if by that kind of indirect representation, if that allows us to kind of check off those boxes, or if additional kind of sign off still needs to occur.
I think it's going to need additional conversation, both from the HRC and RMK in terms of what this says, and then going to the select board for that discussion.
Can I ask a clarifying question? So Denise, this is really for you guys. The end of the proclamation makes it sound like it's aimed towards individuals signing it. And so that was part of my question for you guys, because then it's different if it's like a living document and you constantly want people adding their names, or if you want this to be like a static document, you've picked who you want to sign off and who it's representing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good point, Liz. So we would like the town of Easton as a whole to support the proclamation. However, we would also like for community members, businesses, and organizations throughout the town to also support the proclamation, stating that they believe in what we are doing as a community and as a town. So I do understand that. So we do need to work through that because we want the proclamation to come from the town. However, we want the town as a community to adopt it, because if it just comes from the town and the community is not adopting the proclamation, then it's really not going to go anywhere. So, so we sort of want both. So we want to try to work that out so that, the community embraces the proclamation.
Okay, because that gets into like some of our semantics right now about wording and who it's coming from. And I can see where, the town through representative bodies is saying, as town representatives, we support the language in the proclamation, and then maybe community members, individuals, businesses like slap it on their window or whatever as a way of saying, yeah, we're behind that too. Is that what you had in mind roughly?
Yes, that's what we initially discussed. Kristen, please chime in if you would like to add anything. But yeah, that's what we initially discussed, is that the proclamation would actually be, up in businesses' windows or in their actual establishments to just show their support for the proclamation.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that the town of Easton, in its bylaws or whatever they're called, the original sort of governmental rules, has something around proclamations and how they are made. I think we need to somehow dig those out and figure out how this fits in.
Yeah, I don't know if Craig knows any.
No, I'd have to do that kind of research,
Okay.
to make sure that, that we go through the appropriate process.
Okay. Kristen, do you want to add anything, or are you fine with everything that we've discussed?
So just to clarify, once I just want to understand. So once the HRC decides, or when we all make a decision that this will move forward, we then bring it to the select board. Is that the next step?
Yeah.
So I think from the HRC's perspective, clarifying the wording so it's clear like who's signing this, who the proclamation is from, and perhaps like the 2.0 version of like, what does individual or business in town, how do they show that they're on board? Then once that is in place, then it's clear whether it's only the HRC signing or whether the select board signs as well. Is that accurate, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And Craig, maybe at your next meeting, you can say, this is coming along, they're getting close to completing this process and how we want this to go. So it's really
Sure.
clear.
That's fine.
Oh, and along the lines of I just want to make sure that we're all set with this because I'm going to bring up signs. Along the lines of the signs that you were mentioning, I think we have "We Believe" signs in case you wanted to include those in your event. I don't know how many. I can find out, but more than happy to include.
That would be excellent. Thank you. Denise, I'll reach out to you separately on that one. How about that?
All right. Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Anything else for RMK or Denise and Kristen? Anything else you wanted to bring up today? Any events that you wanted to share with the group or that you wanted to keep on our radar?
Yes. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So we are actually, you know how we have the adult book club events that we do podcasts and book clubs and everything. So the next event is going to be clarifying critical race theory, because we just want everyone to understand what it means and all of the debate around it. However, off the top of my head, I'm not exactly sure what the date is. I think it's going to be a couple of nights. And so I can get that to you, Karen, separately, but be on the lookout as we send that information out. And so it will probably be over 2 nights. And as you know, Angela and Dawn will be our moderators, and they're absolutely phenomenal.
Karen
Great.
and Denise, Irene and I were at the last meeting.
Oh, thank you. I couldn't make it.
Not yet. And I think it looks like it might be in January. They're pushing it off. And I think the concept is the first night is sort of a definition of what it is and what it's not. And the second night being what it looks like in Easton and the public schools. And potentially having a panel of people from the school system or community talking about or RMK talking about what we're doing about teaching anti-racism in our schools. Correct, Irene?
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we're planning. So the reason why we're pushing it out more is it seems like it's a bigger
we wanted to accomplish something bigger at this time, and just because of the holidays coming up, we're running out of time to do that. So just wanted to make sure we allot the appropriate time and make sure we get it done the right way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that, critical race theory is just being thrown around, and that not everyone really understands what it means and what it stands for. And so it's helpful to our community members to really, delve into a deep conversation about it so that, as a community, we're educated about what it really is. So we're excited about that. Oh, and then also we're having DJ Day again at OA this Friday. So the OA students will have the opportunity to watch a couple of videos from his family and have a conversation about, social justice and racial justice issues. So all of the OA students will participate in this event again this Friday.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
I do see that Dawn has joined. I'm trying to promote her to panelist, but it doesn't seem to allow me to. So I'm going to click allow to talk and see if that helps. But Dawn, I'm hoping you're able to hear us.
Yeah, you kept extending the offer for panelists, and I kept rejecting it, not realizing
Oh,
that.
is that what it was? All right.
That was my error.
Well, it's the only way that we can hear you and you can join the conversation. So sorry about that. I should have clarified.
Oh, no, I didn't know. I was rejecting it and saying I'd just be an attendee. I don't have anything else to add. I actually just got home from an hour and a half traffic, so I just got the tail end of the conversation. But it looks like we at least have some guidance as to what the next steps should be from on our end. So that's I guess the right next step for us, that clarity.
Okay, great. And then Denise, Dawn, and Kristen, as you review the comments from the committee, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I can be the point of contact, and I did kind of accumulate all the comments. I deciphered them pretty well, I think, but if by chance we need to go back to any committee member, we can definitely do that as well. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end this portion of our agenda if we don't have anything else for Denise, Dawn, or Kristen.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, the HRC winter event, and the only update that I have is that, Craig, I received your contact, and I did reach out. She acknowledged my inquiry and mentioned that she'd get back to me. And what I did reach out about specifically was participation in the winter festival, specifically to go ahead and display our artwork from the NRT festival. So I'll learn more hopefully by our next meeting, and be prepared to provide an update to the group then.
So Michelle was going to get back to you. Is that what you said, Karen?
Yes.
Did she have a time frame, or do you know what she needs to do in order to get back to you?
No, she just acknowledged my inquiry pretty much immediately and said she'll get back to me.
Erin, is she from the Lions Club or is she Oaks Ames Hall?
She's from Lions Club.
Because just FYI, when we did the Be the Light project, it's actually on Oaks Ames Hall property, and they had to run us doing that project in that space by the board at Oaks Ames Hall, which extended the time. Like it was a little bit last minute, and that was one of the things that we got hung up on. So just fair warning that if we're thinking of using that space in front of Oaks Ames, it has to be run by that board.
What is the date of the festival? Does anybody know?
Craig?
I don't know the date of it. I was kind of assuming that when Karen talked to Michelle, that Michelle would be able to give her the time frame. But
Seems like it's usually early December, right?
yeah.
Like I want to say around the 7th or so, but I could be wrong.
Well, I would suggest you reach out again to Karen, and if need be, I think Michelle is on the board of I could be wrong, but I think she may be on the board of the hall, but I'm not sure about that. But
It's
if we need to
December
get
4th.
that, I'm sorry?
It's the 4th, sorry. It's December 4th.
December, okay. But if she's not on the board of the Oak Ames Hall, then, you know, we can certainly reach out to Fred and Fred Ames and talk to him, or someone who is designated by the board to make that determination. But again, Michelle will probably be able to give you that information, because if they're going to utilize space too, they need to have that conversation with the board of Oak Ames Hall as well.
Okay. Okay. I didn't realize it was coming up so quickly, but yes, I will definitely follow up.
Are they gonna have a parade? Do we know?
I think they're talking about, the last time was talking about a parade.
And do we want to participate in that?
It's up to the committee.
Pretty easy. I'm happy to do it.
I'm happy to as well. I think that's an easy visibility marker. Can hand out stickers.
And I'm assuming Michelle would be the point of contact for parade participation as well, Craig?
Yeah, I would think so, that she's responsible for, or she's taken on the responsibility of coordinating the whole event. So I would suggest you reach out to her. I know Michelle very well too. If you want me to reach out to her to if that can be helpful, please let me know.
Okay, I'll copy you on my next follow-up. How about that?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the Wayfinder project. Kristen, do you want to provide an update on that?
Sure. So we met for the first time on October 7th, and the firm hired to do the design concepts presented some initial designs, which I forwarded to the group. And then we meet again tomorrow morning to get a review of some designs that we had liked, and they were going to more fully flesh out the concepts and some color ideas. Liz had given me some feedback about being able to see the signs, and that there is a member from the commission on disability and my cat that is represented, and they have given thorough notes about visibility and what they prefer. Simple, bold is best. Anyway, if people have had a chance to look at the designs, if you have any feedback for me or my cat, I will take a note. And please, somebody please feed my cats, because that's what she wants.
Okay, and everyone has that email from Kristen. Does anyone, oh, sorry, go ahead, Amy.
No, I was just gonna ask, when do you need feedback by? Just
Anytime. Anytime would do. Yeah, because I can send the committee notes at any point. I do meet with them tomorrow morning, though we are looking at something specific. So anyway. And personal opinions, I also accept those, because we all have kind of our design opinions and feelings, and I'm more than happy to take those as well. Yeah, any feedback or comments?
Just one question, Kristen. I know the select board has been, periodically approving recommendations from each of the committees to join this committee. So I don't know if you've got a full slate yet of people, or
we didn't last time, and I'm not sure what tomorrow will look like, but I think we were still 3 or 4 members short when we met on the 7th. So I think it's progressing, Craig.
okay, good.
All right, so any comments around or feedback on the signs that Kristen sent?
And Sergio, did I send that to you? I did? Okay.
Yeah, I received it too.
Okay, good.
Okay, awesome. All right, so other action items, I did want to provide an update around the incident at the high school. And I did share that with committee members just in case you did not receive that communication directly, but Kelly Kavanaugh, principal of OA High School, sent a message yesterday evening that alerted parents to an incident at OA where a swastika and a related phrase were found on a poster in a bathroom. The HRC, we have reached out to Kelly directly for opportunities to collaborate with the school. She responded immediately with interest in hosting our NRT artwork, and Allie's going to take point on kind of getting that to the school for the beginning of the month. We also, I connected with Deputy Chief Boone, and there is currently an investigation in progress. He shared that there are cameras at the high school, and if footage reveals information around who the culprit is, disciplinary action will be enforced. And I know that Beth also reached out to Dr. Cabral as well to determine whether or not this would impact any additional action or curriculum for the schools. I think this is really, it's a harsh reminder that we have an opportunity to continue educating not just our students, but our community with focus around not just race, but in this case, focus around any hatred really that would benefit for our town and our community. And that, we really need to continue to look for ways in which we can be allies and advocates and activists for change. So the HRC, thanks to Allie, issued a statement, and Amy issued a statement earlier today. We posted it on our website. We included references or reference to an ADL resource that we thought might be helpful for people. So we do encourage folks to take a look at that statement, but we wanted to make sure that we acted timely, kind of along the lines of our communication and reaction to incidents. We've talked about it in the past, which is the formula is that it impacts community members, specifically in our town, which in this case it does. And that, we're able to also not only just provide a response in terms of a reaction, but also kind of associate that with some additional education if possible. And that's what we tried to do. I don't know if there's anything else the team.
I thought it was well written. I thought it was well written. And I can tell you that Rabbi Carr has reached out to the principal as well. And I'm waiting for a call back from him to tell me how he's going to become involved, if at all, in this incident, or in education, whatever the appropriate response on the part of the Jewish community is. So I will let you know, Karen, if and when I get back that information.
Should I send this out to our allies? Because while it's on the website, not, everybody has to look at our website every day.
Yeah, I think that's fine, Kathy, to share a link to our website and it does post our reaction to it. I think that's fine.
Will it come up right at the top, or should I just have?
It does.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I'll do that.
I think we just need to see this as a little bit of a flag that, while everything that we do in our programming, we try to target as wide an audience as we possibly can. And we, of course, always keep the schools and our kids in mind when we do this. I think because this is the second one in less than 2 years at OA, I think we need to just be really diligent in our planning to capture that audience really well. It just jumped out at me as, oh my gosh, again, like this is, this is the second time in less than 2 years. We're doing a lot, but let's think about in our programming, what more can we do in the schools?
I'm also wondering, I love when we put out statements and it happens quickly, and thank you for writing it. I feel like there's another step here in educating the community. I've looked at some of the responses to the email that the principal sent, and a lot of people are like, oh, kids will be kids, this was just a dumb kid, like, how can we arm ourselves with appropriate responses to comments like that? Like, I feel like I want to do more, right? I don't really usually engage on social media, but I don't know, I'm wondering if we can take it a step farther and not only teach, that it's not okay, but teach people how to behave in a situation like that or what to say. I don't know if anyone has ideas.
Yeah, and I think this also points back to how to be an ally, right? And I don't know for those of us who joined that active bystander training or those types of interactions, but it's to how we can support each other in moments of potential danger, in interactions like that, and then also reactions. So I wonder if this might be an opportunity for us to look into additional resources. I know Beth is like a walking dictionary full of resources, and other folks have reached out as well to provide different types of sites and groups that are out there that we could potentially bring forward. But I really like that idea, Amy, of kind of taking it a next step and thinking about how we can then move forward with some sort of additional information that we can share across our community.
Maybe it's as simple as adding another section or continuing work on our list of resources on our website.
Yes.
Maybe I can reach out to Beth and ask if she has any ideas.
It also might be appropriate, Amy, if you make contact with Donna Whitehead and see if she wants to engage in a conversation about this. We need to be careful because there's an investigation going on, so we can't step on the investigation, but we certainly can take a position, which you've done on the website with Donna, and see if she will follow up, given that it's the second incident in a couple of years.
Sorry, who's Donna again? I don't remember her role.
It's for Wicked Local.
Oh,
Donna Whitehead is the reporter that has been very responsive to Easton.
That's right.
So it might be worth, Amy, to reaching out to her to see what role she can play in providing that kind of information you're talking about.
I know we did this on this training, but actually before I was on the committee. But I wonder if we wanted to have a follow-up training maybe as we look at our calendar coming up, and is that something we want to think about offering again? Something like that.
I could reach out to Liza, the community speaker who did our, that really awesome training a little back. She's offered to do stuff for us again to kind of help her build her portfolio while we're building ours. This might be something that she'd be into.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be great, Amy. Even if we, aim for something at the beginning of the year, because I know we're running into now kind of holiday season, but something at the beginning of the year would be excellent. And I do think, where we talk about one of the challenges for our committee is data, right? Like knowing what are the issues in our town. I think this is a clear indication of an issue in our town. And so we need to react accordingly and figure out ways that we can help combat these challenges that we continue to have. I did reference that incident from the previous year as well to Deputy Chief Boone, and he did indicate that that was handled by the school, but that it was associated potentially with a very kind of specialized case in regards to that particular incident. So I want to say that it may not necessarily have the same kind of circumstances as the incident that occurred yesterday.
Would be something to consider. Sorry,
Sergio, go ahead.
I would say something to consider maybe to have other student responses to what happened. And that way is kind of showing within their own community versus even like us as adults trying to say like, this is how best way to behave. It can kind of show that even their own community didn't like shows an opposition to the signs and symbols they use and has their own shock.
Yeah, so I will tell you, and because I have a high schooler and friends with high schoolers, I have heard that the principal at OA has actively been working with the students directly around this incident. And so I think she's met with several groups of students, kind of working with them to try to figure out how they best should combat this and address this going forward. So I know that's definitely taking place, and we'll be kind of monitoring this closely as well as we kind of think about different ways that we can help support and collaborate with the school. But I think you're absolutely right. Where we can leverage the students and be able to have their voices heard as well. I think I definitely think Kelly Kavanaugh is going that route.
Aaron, didn't we have ADL training at the high school within the last couple of years?
Yes, that's right. They did a peer leadership training. It was, I believe, 2 years ago, because my oldest daughter participated in it, and they actually are continuing it this year because my younger daughter is now participating in it. She said they actually just had their first meeting sometime last week. But that there will be a continued focus on that ADL peer leadership, and there is a team that they have engaged with the ADL to participate in that training. I think the two advisors for that at the high school, one is the vice principal, and the other I think is the head of the English department.
Karen, is that training for select students, or is it something that's rolled out? Is it given to all students, or is it like peer-to-peer? I'm just curious because it's great.
Yeah, it is great. I think the leadership training is a application process. So if you're interested, then you would fill out an application and talk about why you're interested, and then you would get selected. And then from there, at least from what I remember from my oldest daughter, was that they would then get the training, and then the students would go into the classrooms and facilitate conversation around discrimination, racism, and it was, from what I've heard, it's pretty powerful conversations that the students engaged in based on that training from ADL. I think they go to actually each of the classrooms. So I think everyone at the school somehow will be engaged at some point.
It would be great to get those students also involved, if we can, in whatever training it is that we're going to be offering in the spring, in the winter or the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, we've been kind of just thinking through too, what additional kind of reaction the HRC wants to have around this incident or support we want to provide the high school. So, we'll continue to kind of keep an ear out on what activities are happening at the high school, any kind of extra focus that they might have, as well as, again, Beth did reach out to Dr. Cabral, so we'll see what she has planned as well, and we'll make sure that we stay engaged.
It sounds like the schools are doing a lot. I mean, they're doing a lot to figure this out and to solve this. And I think that it would be great if we could find a way to help support them even more.
This is Kristen. I wonder, just thinking about high school students and the age divide between us and high school students, and there's a community at Stonehill, and they supposedly, I think, would have something equivalent to what we do. And I wonder if the high school students would respond really positively to having college students, that group that they look up to. And is there something that we can do to help facilitate those two communities getting together? I just think that that they would have a stronger response to peers that are closer to them and to some people that they look up to.
I think that's a great idea.
I think Beth is the one
Yeah,
to reach out to, Kristen. She has those connections.
Yeah, and I wonder, Ally, if this goes back to maybe some of that mentoring conversation that you brought forward maybe sometime last year, where trying to kind of pair folks up with other folks in the community who are really passionate about just human rights in general and helping to facilitate that interaction.
It's almost facilitating the development of the next generation of leaders in human rights.
Exactly. Yeah, Kristen, I do think Beth does have a lot of contacts at Stonehill, and she's brought them forward before in terms of various types of I think there's different groups within Stonehill that have a human rights focus in a various capacities, because I know that they have focus around food insecurity through their farm. I know that they kind of tackle many different topics, kind of running the gamut of social determinants of health. So I do think that would be a great starting point. And then I know also Beth, I think it's Beth as well, has contacts at Bridgewater State, who also has folks that have offered to do training for us in the past. So something to consider going forward. Okay. We don't have any public participation. The only other thing I wanted to bring up was our next meeting. So it was recommended to me to go back to that first Tuesday of every month, just because that was our kind of regular cadence. Does anybody have any concern with our next meeting being on December 7th at 6:30 instead of trying to squeeze it in the week before, the week of Thanksgiving?
It makes sense to me.
December 7 works.
Works for me.
Works for me.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, everyone. So in the meantime, then we'll have our distribution of our Hate Has No Home signs. We will also have hopefully an opportunity to engage in the Winter Festival. And then, we'll be ready to plan for 2022 at our next meeting. All right, awesome. I think we're ready to adjourn. Can I go ahead and do actually, can I, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Second.
Thanks, Craig.
Okay.
Thanks, Kathy.
Audrey, yes.
Vote.
Dean, yes.
Foster, yes.
Gershman, yes.
Okay, yes.
Oh, yes.
Archuli, yes.
All right, thank you, team. Everyone have a great night. It's been a great meeting. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Nice to meet you, Sergio.